Most UK SMEs are ready for robot adoption.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
The reality is that ops director that has 50 members of staff, people like us are going to go in and say, those 10 people are going to get better jobs. But that ops director is thinking, I don't have any other jobs. Like, what jobs? Where?
And do you know what? As much as I take the piss out of them, I wouldn't want to be a salesperson. Not in this day. It's a really tough game.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. You know, even though probably what I do is quite a bit salesy, the fact we're kind of selling...
You do a bit of sales, don't you?
I'll talk rubbish to anybody first. I'll talk shit to anybody for a quid. You hugged a fox.
I did, yeah. Yeah, we went shooting.
She didn't shoot a fox.
In a licensed...
Right, to be clear, to clear it up.
You were fox hunting?
You did.
No.
This is Manufacturing Uncensored. No PR, no safe answers. Today we're discussing the adoption of automation and robotics from an integrator's perspective.
And if that makes some people uncomfortable, that's probably a good sign.
Collaborative robots make automation easy.
Backbone.
Why?
They do make automation easy, but they weren't bought, like the industrial robot gave birth to the collaborative robot, right? So
actually.
They're a new product. Yeah, I feel like the 6-axis robot gave birth to the collaborative robot. But they've got their place. I mean, they're hugely competitive because they save so much space, and we know that factories weren't built for the future. So a collaborative robot just makes sense. It just becomes that accessible form of automation that people need.
Where does that belief fall apart once you're on a factory floor? Or do you not think it does?
Well, it falls apart because essentially a lot of them get installed as an industrial robot application.
Yeah, okay.
So people type into Google what they think they're looking for. They're looking for a cobot, but essentially what they need is an industrial application. So they're just robots. You know, I mean, some work better in some environments. Some, the industrial, for instance, works at a greater level of speed. But the collaborative, they keep developing that product to a higher payload. It's a serious contender in that landscape now.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's now thinking, who are you and what qualifies you to talk about this, can you just give us a brief background of who you are, what you do?
So I'm Rosie Davies and I'm Managing Director for Rico Automation, who specialise in collaborative robots in palletising applications and AMRs. I've been in the industry for, I think it's 17 years. And actually, I've been in an industrial setting for a majority of that with industrial robots. So in my past occupation, I was a commercial director for a packaging and automation company, and all we did was industrial robots. And so I was a devout industrial robot, a huge advocate for that product and for those systems. But collaborative does make sense in this day and age, and in particular for food manufacturers.
Okay.
And that's why we wanted Rosie on first. I mean, Rosie Rico, I think you've got to say, are one of the best integrators there at the moment, in that they've picked their application and they're doing it well and they're developing. And then I've worked with Rosie now for about 5 years through the Trade Association, and the organisations that Rosie's worked with, she's tried everything in industry, given everything a go. She's been a backer of integrator schemes. So really, when we talk to Rosie as on this first one, we're talking not theory, but somebody who's actually had a go at it and is being successful at it.
Yeah, I think that's important. We don't want from this any of the corporate sort of BS that you get from usual structured events or interviews. This has got to be about your honest opinion of manufacturing and how you and Rico are changing the perceptions of robots, I suppose.
Well, this is why I said yes to you guys. You've asked me before, I said no to you.
Yeah, cheers. Good job you're here.
I don't know why she says yes, because normally she says no to anything.
Only because your previous stuff, it gets very personal. I don't think that...
Okay, we won't go too
I'm not
personal
here
today.
to overshare my personal life.
All right. So we're going to get straight into the first segment.
Can we not do that as like a second episode?
Absolutely not, no.
Okay, fine.
Maybe, well, over a glass of wine, maybe sometime.
Okay, yeah. Episode 1, segment 1. So this is the first time we've done this, but it's going to be called Uncensored Headlines. All right. So I'm going to give you 3 headlines that I suppose are common conversations in industry right now, and we want your honest opinion. So headline number 1 is UK SMEs still lag Europe in robot density. Think that's a technology problem, or is it something else?
It's not a technology problem. There are so many barriers as to why an SME may not have adopted in automation. We could talk about cost all day long, but I think even now the technology is at a point where it has become way more affordable. Even when we're put up against unrealistic ROI expectations, you know, we can supply solutions, not Rico, but many integrators can supply solutions that come within budget and can even make a return within a year, 18 months.
I think the ROI thing's a bit becoming a bit of a silly point actually, because I was looking at some projects that we're handling at the moment in Scandinavia, and their ROI is about the same as the UK now, yet they're just more open to adopting automation because they're more used to it. We always have this perception, I mean, you'll see it in articles that everybody moans at 2-year payback, you can't justify it. You look at other bits of Europe now, they're also on the 2-year payback. I know our view I have, which I think is that one thing that businesses like Rosie works for and the Cobot guys do is that they're changing the communication around robotics. I think there's an internal piece that we have to do as an industry, which is be less formal and be more kind of applications engineer based and friendly on how we sell stuff. And I think that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I think those that do well in this industry will have a very niche and they become specialists in certain areas of application for robots. And I think that gives the customer a whole load of confidence that they're buying from an integrator that's proven in their own field, whether it's palletizing, whether it's robotic welding, riveting, assembly, pick and place. Yeah. You know, I think there's enough. I don't suppose there's nearly enough to really deal with all of the potential opportunities there are within UK manufacturing altogether, but there's a hell of a lot to go at. But if you go to see the right people, talk to the right people in show and look at their technology and talk to their previous customers, you can get an awful lot of confidence in what you need to buy, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it? Rather than going to a company and listening to what they say they can do, you need to go and see it and speak to people that have actually used those robotic applications in the workplace, and don't just talk to the white shirts and in the office. Go and talk to the operators line side about how they get on with it. But back to your question, SMEs, I don't think it's the SME landscape that's entirely the issue in terms of the lack of robotic uptake in the UK. I think the larger companies, there are so many blockers as to why you don't get a decision on an investment in automation. I think actually the SME landscape, there's an awful lot of companies that are quite agile in their decision making because there aren't so many hoops to jump through as an SME.
I think the SME landscape is improving for sure. And I think the other thing is, if you look at you and I, who actually run SMEs, I think we're getting over our imposter syndrome a little bit. So I think we can relate to people who want to adopt our technology a little bit. So I think the SME situation, you're right, is getting better because I think if you're an SME in Europe or in America, you think you can change the world. I think if you're an SME in the UK, and we've discussed this, right? You have quite a bit of imposter syndrome. We're sat at SMC here today, and we feel a little bit kind of
little fish,
right?
Koi carp.
Do we even explain that, Tom, about the carp? Okay, that's we won't explain the carp.
Anybody that's been to SMC will know what we're talking about, right?
It was a bit odd getting a carp in a gift bag. That I would say. But SMEs in other areas are nurtured by their governments, and to be fair, by their trade associations. And it's a thing you and I probably are getting better at Automate, right? That you can do anything. SMCs in this country, there's a bit of imposter syndrome. You don't think you're quite worthy. That is starting to change. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? There's some disruptive SMEs at end users now. But you're right. We've now got the larger companies getting a bit constipated, haven't we?
Yeah, slightly. Yeah. And I don't suppose the economic landscape has really supported us in trying to sell more robots and sell more equipment. Full stop. Yeah. I think we're all in the same boat. Had a bit of a wobbler when we saw a change in government. Rightly or wrongly, it just causes a lot of upset. The consumer marketplace is it's all a bit unnerving at the moment, isn't it? And that has a knock-on effect to the decision making and with the companies that we're dealing with, how they spend their money. I mean, it just changes within a heartbeat. Yeah. And they move their focus, and so for us who are typically selling end-of-line applications, there's so many other things within the business and the operation that needs money spent on, and it's just shifting the money from one area to another, and you kind of get caught up in that.
So to conclude, headline number one, we're all in agreement that it's not technology. So are we in agreement that it's culture?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I'd say that's probably the case, yeah.
And you're actually talking about it, probably sadly the economic culture of the whole country at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We should talk about the fact that I was shouting about this when obviously we feed statistics are fed into BARA about the number of robots that are distributed in the UK, and my God, we did a lot with refurbishing robots and repurposing them. They were coming out of automotive factories thick and fast. We were repurposing them and putting them back into market in palletizing applications, and it worked. Yeah. The ABB 6400 robot was like bomb-proof. Yeah. And
But that's great for the end user. But it's certainly not good for the people that are feeding the numbers into BARA.
No, because they didn't get considered.
Robots.
No.
Yeah, but you should never overlook the opportunity. We always think new in this industry, and you should never look at the opportunity of recycling, not even from a sustainability point of view, but recycling and reassigning asset to do something else in a different company or another company is actually some ways the best way of getting people to adopt automation, because it's risk averse. If they've spent probably 20% on a project versus 100% on a new one, it doesn't really matter if it goes wrong. And even in traditional packaging machinery, we know if we flip a second-hand machine, not ever we get them, we will always try and put it into a new customer that we've tried to get to automate, because it's basically the best kind of marketing department you can to stick something that's not exciting but reliable and get it in there, and normally it will be a gateway to adopting. So we always think about new. It's right we think about new, but you're right, that surge of recycling robots that came out of automotive was probably one of the biggest things in improving robotics in FMCG, right?
And we're going to see a lot more of that in the collaborative world as well, because historically the collaborative robot, more often than not, was a true collaborative robot in its early stages of its life. But as we know, the food industry moves on, the consumer market changes, the needs of the business change, and so those robots could become redundant, but that's not to say that they can't be repurposed and put back into market somewhere more useful.
Yep, and I totally agree with both of you, but I'm going to continue being devil's advocate here because I think it does drive more automation and it does drive trust with your end user. Actually, we live in with quite a fickle society, and corporate life means that if that salesperson isn't selling a new robot, the salesperson doesn't have a job. Right, so that salesperson is still hammering that door to sell a brand new robot because they've got quarterly figures that they need to hit.
Yeah.
Which is totally, I completely agree with both of you, but it's totally against that way of selling.
I reflect that we have a big cultural issue on our side of the fence in selling equipment. Over anything that Automate does, it is improving. That we are pushing a culture of new, and sell and forget. And you look at the businesses that are doing very well in the industry at the moment, and it's people who do some form of proper life cycle providing, some proper form of application engineering at the front end, and actually when they're looking at sale, they're not just looking at shifting the unit, they're looking at shifting the unit and the add-on service. Those are the people in difficult market across everything, but particularly robotics. I mean, it's what you do at Rico, right? Are doing, actually doing the partnership thing rather than just having it on the website.
Yeah, it's providing solutions with a great feed-in and support from your partners and your suppliers, absolutely, yeah. But the customer just wants to deal with one company. Yeah. They want to save all the headache of having to deal with multiple suppliers within the project. And again, I think that works really well for some integrators if they can be that one-stop shop for the full turnkey solution, for sure.
Ready for headline number 2? We're all happy with that one? We put that one to bed?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Manufacturers cite cost as the number one barrier to automation. Is that real or just a safe answer?
It's a safe answer.
Did
you want me to say bullshit?
No, different segment. Don't worry about that.
Say bullshit, go on, Phil, do it.
Yeah,
say
yeah.
Bullshit, go on.
I'll save that for after.
Okay.
Not too much swearing.
Yeah, no, come on.
Okay.
I might share this with my mother.
So manufacturers cite cost as the number one barrier to automation.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind, isn't it? It's all about the pound signs, but but there are so many more barriers, and it is just a bit of a minefield, lining up all the ducks just to get that purchase approved.
Yeah.
It's serious hurdling, and do you know what? As much as I take the piss out of them, I wouldn't want to be a salesperson. Not in this day. It's a really tough game.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. Even though probably what I do is quite a bit salesy, the fact we're kind of selling...
Well, you do a bit of sales, don't you?
I'll talk rubbish to anybody. I'll talk shit to anybody for a quid. Yeah, but luckily, a bit like what you do at Rico, we sell solutions. God, that sounds awful. That's absolute David Brent, but it's actually what we do, right? We sell solutions. I'd hate to be somebody who is selling a more general automation products at the moment, right? I think that is a hard gig. I think people citing cost, it's the kind of our version's industry of breaking up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. A line, as you can imagine, I've heard many times before. It's not you, it's me. I think that is that's basically my late 1990s. That is, but it is that it's the easy answer to get. There is actually so many different factors behind it. People being scared of automation is still a thing, right? Not because it takes the jobs, but because putting an automotive process.
No, but it's perceived to take jobs.
Yeah, it's perceived to take jobs, and also if you're a project manager in anything really, but especially FMCG, it's a big gig to. If you're repeating automation, it's like a traditional PPMA thing like I do. I think it's a lot easier than your world in robotics because somebody's actually doing that automation in the business. So their reputation is on your delivery of project, right? And that's a big undertaking for somebody to do personally.
Well, we're at the end of the line. You're a bit more further upstream to us, aren't you? So we do get this whole, we've run out of money. We've got to wait for the next pot because actually it's all cost us a little bit more than we'd anticipated, or we've got to go and buy something over there. That's But actually getting the feedback is sometimes really tough. Like, I'll say to the guys, like, what? They were really hot on it. You spent a lot of time with them. I was like, what's happened? I don't know, they're just not picking up the phone to me.
Yeah.
And I suppose it is like that boyfriend-girlfriend
Yeah.
breakup situation where it's hard to get the feedback, and I
What is
suppose some
the
people
sort
don't
of-
want to say no.
No, people are scared to
Actually,
say
we went
no.
with somebody else.
What is the typical ROI that your customers are asking for at end of line?
It varies because they don't all calculate ROI in the same way. You know, there's anything from the 12 months to 3 years.
Okay.
3 years would be more, well, 2.5, 3 years. Depends on what shifts they're running, really.
Because I'm guessing, sorry to generalise, James, but for Rosie it's a little bit easier. You're going to tell me it's not now. Because the end of line, it's normally someone that's picking up a box, putting it on a pallet, and you can sort of say, well, 3 shifts equals X.
Yeah.
Is that not enough of a
health and safety
swing anymore?
No. Health and safety, we've got sort of repetitive strain.
Yeah.
That's a very big thing. Training, staff shortages. It's dull, isn't it? It's not
It is, but
the
is
job
it,
that people want to do.
But you go in with a solution. Is that not enough to just for these end users to be like, oh yeah,
I
okay,
think
let's
it
do it?
is. And why aren't you buying it? Because this is a no-brainer, right?
So
But
what's the other
again,
excuse that's not cost?
I've got to send it up to board, and we'll put the CapEx application in, and we're waiting here. And
Yeah,
don't
overlook this fear factor. Don't overlook this fear factor. I mean,
There's less skilled staff, less skilled engineers that can install it, maintain it.
I mean, that is at a level that we've never seen before. I mean, that's the bit that really worries me at the moment, is putting technology into sites at the moment and really seeing the effect of that kind of apprenticeship gap of 20, 30 years. That's a day-to-day problem we have, certainly with equipment.
Yeah, I don't want to bash on about skills all too much because we're trying to develop, we collectively are trying to develop the technology so it becomes really easy to use, you know? Like.
But also as the integrator, you've got a package to sell that's you can maintain and service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way and above the manufacturer that just wants to go to that end user and say, here's a robot, now I'll train one of your engineers to look after it.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't fly, does it? Selling them something and say, oh, but you need us to come and put a new pallet stack in, for instance, or reconfigure the program. I don't think that works anymore. I think we have to give them all the tools, whether it's maintenance training, advanced operator training. I think you've got to give the users all of that.
One of the things I keep banging on about is why have we got, when actually automation lands at a factory, the adoption of it by the people who actually use it is not high enough. They struggle, they do it, but then we see them having lunch and they can control an iPhone like it's better than I can. It's not hard, right? One thing I would say the collaborative guys are doing really well across the whole automation landscape is you're doing better at that. You're doing better at making your systems user-friendly. And I think industrial robotics and I think traditional PPMA, I'd include myself in that, we're still very bad at that. That you've got an operator that can do the most amazing things on their iPhone or their tablet, yet you basically have an iPhone or a tablet to control the piece of automation, and we don't do it well enough. The collaborative guys have been brilliant at getting on top of that, really good at getting on top of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great software out there now to be able to configure your own robot. But in all fairness, the industrial guys, what we were doing at our own group, they went a long way with developing their software as well to make it easy to use. So shout out to the industrial.
Should we big up them?
Big up.
Big up the industrial robot people.
Headline number 3. Collaborative robots are marketed as just plug-and-play solutions for SMEs.
Yeah, we overselling that.
There isn't a one-size-fits-all, is there? I actually had a little walk around our place last night, and all 6 that we've got on the floor have got a different configuration, whether it's the guarding, whether it's the in-feed. Some of them have got label applicators on the feet, like they're all slightly different. So because every place you go and set them down and install them, there are variances.
Do you think we had almost like a collaborative robot bubble, about like the internet bubble and the AI bubble?
Oh yeah, it's major, yeah.
And now actually it's calming down, and it's the people who've kind of picked their application are the ones that are excelling. Is that the change we're having at the moment?
I think the standard and the off the shelf are selling well because it's well proven, it's well documented. People are following up with robust case studies, customer testimonials. I think that really works well.
There's no doubt to me, probably since I've been involved in the wider industry, that you had integrators when I first started in the wider industry, 2017, when I joined the PPMA board as it was then. You'd have integrators that would do everything, and everybody was an integrator that would do everything, certainly if they had a Cobot. What you've now got is you've got integrators, and it's integrators who are selling, and that model will stay right, which is why we're doing the integrator scheme at Automate at the moment.
Plug.
Website
we'll get a little,
yeah. Which I'm sure Rico has signed up to.
No, not yet. No.
I mean, well,
give her a piece of paper and a pen.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the integrators that are doing well and will really, I think, if they can stick it out this sticky period where we need some economic certainty, and we just need everybody to feel a bit more confident. The integrators that are doing 2 or 3 or 4 core things with some kind of support products, so maybe like you guys, you're palletizing, but you got the AMR and you got the SCADA software off the back of it. What you're seeing with people who are doing the same kind of portfolio around things like welding, those integrators who've picked like 3-4 key applications, they're the ones I can see do very well for the next decade.
Yeah, because they hone in, they specialise on that application, and you know, it's developing the core products around it, the ancillary equipment that supports that to add value to that application. You know, like the whole regulations and cybersecurity. You know, connectivity. They want you to dial into that machine to help out if it becomes into error mode or whatever. But you've got to do that to meet regulations with the new Cybersecurity Act coming into play December 2027. You know, we're all gearing up for that as machine builders. And
are we?
We are. James?
I'm just sticking 5G, and what I'm doing is I'm just sticking 5G SIMs in the roof and hoping for the best. Do I comply? Am I good?
Is that the chair of Automate?
Yeah.
What? Does that work? Kind of work. It's not connected to the network, is it?
It's times like this I'm really worried for Ralph, bless him.
Yeah. I'm a constant worry for Ralph, bless him.
Yeah.
Luckily, you probably won't watch this. We're all right.
Yeah.
We'll just get told about it, and then I'll get a phone call. Yeah.
No, but there's so many other ways to make it an easier adoption experience for the customer, and ticking all those boxes. It's hard work keeping up with it all, but you've got to be at the forefront of it.
Ready to do the fun part? This one's called Bullshit or Backbone.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw some things at you, and I want an honest, straight answer. Either bullshit or backbone, and you're not allowed to explain it until you commit to one of them. Then James is going to push you on an answer.
Okay.
Most UK SMEs are ready for robot adoption.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. But why?
Environmental factors. Oh, we've got to pull that wall down. We've got to put some. You know, it's upstream readiness.
So what can you and I be doing
operators. Better? You know, another real problem is redeployment of labour. You know, when we're coming in with a robot, you've got to shift manpower somewhere else in the business.
Yep.
And it's not easy upskilling somebody that's been putting cases on a pallet, for instance.
I think there's a huge thing here that industry doesn't talk about.
Yeah.
Is like, yes, we can go in and say, well, you can redeploy them 10 people, but where are them 10 people going? But honestly, what are the jobs?
Yeah, when they've been in the business for 20 years, then It's not an easy
yeah.
redundancy, is it?
It's not an easy, you're right. And the other thing is as well is that because you've got to redeploy those people, I think, you know, there's this view that employers are arseholes and they want to reduce their headcount. It's not. It's some are. Is that pointed towards me? I noticed that, by the way. Can we break out, right? He's right. He's like, everybody's telling me, including her, that I need to have a better social media presence, right? So I go on LinkedIn. I go on LinkedIn, right? And I go that I've done 17 years at Grumworld, and that we undervalue the longevity in a business, right? And I didn't use a marketing person. I didn't use AI. I actually drafted that bloody thing, right? Basically, because you were one of the voices about you've got to have more of a profile, and then ping, basically, on what do the people at Grumwold get for having to deal with you?
I rung you up straight away because I was like, I might overstep the mark publicly.
It was the shallowest sorry I have ever heard. Going back to the point,
you're obviously very well liked.
The 5 likes on the status, agree. Yeah.
I've got quite a good TripAdvisor, I think. Is
no, it's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a tough call.
People want to retain those 10 people, as you say. The problem is you've then actually got to look at how can you retain them, which is what you're saying.
Yep.
And then it leads to actually that one integrated Cobot system, which we're talking about today, leads to a whole operational change, which means that you have to engage with this person. Yeah. It's a big problem.
Skill up, shift up.
Yep.
It is a real problem.
But I mean,
we're talking in Bara. We're talking about how robots effectively create more employment opportunities within businesses.
Yes. But that's because we're all, from a sales point of view, we all, I don't anymore, but we all sell automation. Like, we want to spin that. The reality is that ops director that has 50 members of staff, and we're going to move 10, and people like us are going to go in and say, those 10 people are going to get better jobs. But that ops director is thinking, I don't have any other jobs. Like, what jobs? Where? Move a forklift? Like what? What do we give them?
Well, and then we're going to bring an AMR to do that one. So
I think there's I think that's probably a problem that's really appearing now. So I think we got in a situation where we weren't replacing jobs, we were replacing jobs that weren't being filled. So certainly I've automated some stuff the last 3-4 years where we had solutions for 20 years and it just wouldn't work because it was cheaper to use people. Right? So we're automating some stuff with some, you know, I look at the machine we put in and I go, that's very expensive for what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the job, but because we were filling jobs that people weren't doing. But you doesn't quite tell the story, and what you're saying is absolutely true, is that upskill. But what you can't upskill them to do is 10 people being replaced by an end of line means that 2 people are going to be upskilled, for instance, right? So where you're upskilling the other 8.
Yeah.
And it's that wider development piece as well, is that you get into a situation, don't overlook, especially at an SME, that one piece of automation, like somebody goes, that should be a bit of conveyor rather than somebody doing that, can soon lead to a bit of like a bridged business strategy for the whole place.
Don't get me wrong, in most businesses we do see them become a lot more profitable, a lot more productive, and they grow. And
that's the counter argument. If we don't automate, then that business is going to lose competitively to other countries, and we lose all the jobs. So 50 jobs go instead of the 10.
Yeah.
Totally get it. I just think there's a conversation that's missing in industry that's no one really talks about.
Yeah.
There's another piece. I think
there's work to be done with the unions, isn't there?
There's work to be done with the unions.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't happen, we blame Peter Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what he does now. So if he
Perfect Pete,
he cocks it up. We'll have a word with him.
Yeah.
Okay, back to we kick Pete a bit. What could you and I be doing better though?
I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah, it's like that.
I guess, like I love what I do at Rico, I'm not part of the sales team, but we do have house accounts, and I love getting out there to see the sites, the solutions, and the challenges that are faced at first hand. And I just have a chat with people and see what they're experiencing. And I think just keep learning and keep developing the technology or the solution that meets their needs, their absolute needs, and just provide that advice. And you know, maybe automate as an association. We should be that epicenter of automation advice and support that's completely impartial. That, you know, say, if you're really struggling with this, come and see us. I mean, if you're talking to project management companies or any other consulting firms, there's, you know, how impartial is it? But Automate can maybe offer that guidance where needed.
We need to get better at talking to the end user at all levels.
Well, we're going to do that, aren't we?
Yeah. Are we?
Can we talk about it?
I don't know. We haven't finished it yet.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But we have to. But it's actually.
But we're going to.
We're going to do it. We're going to do something. We don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do it, right?
No, we do need to engage more with our
Yeah.
end users for sure.
Yep.
There is too much of I mean, there's always going to be a thus and then mentality because it's a commercial transaction, right? But
if I'm honest, if I'm going to an end user site, I'll probably talk more about Bara and Automate than I do about Rico. Genuine.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm genuinely interested in how we're providing a solution, but actually, I don't want to sell them something they don't really need.
Yeah.
You know?
You must have much nicer customers than me, because they just go, "Oh, so you're still being that industry wanker on the side."
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Just customers saying that.
Yeah, everybody says it, right?
Your face is everywhere, though, isn't it?
Well, it's quite big.
What did you say? You're like a bad milk stain in the car. It's
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Smell
That's that smell that just comes back. Yeah, that was you weren't there for that. I didn't know what to do, right? Because obviously coming back as chair, you just, you know, you want to say it's all going to be great. We're going to do this, and I just stood up. Where were we at? The Tower of London. Yeah, and I just went, like the smell from a milk stain in your car, I return. And then it kind of went. And then I kind of tried to pull it back a bit professional, and I went, let's go for lunch. Right, it worked, right?
It did work, yeah.
Bullshit or backbone? Biggest barrier to robot adoption is cost.
Backbone. It's one of the biggest, isn't it? It is. It's sort of 60% of why the reasons why people don't do it. So yeah, I think it's one of the main reasons why people don't go for it, and not just because they can't justify the expenditure in that given area. It's just that there's a huge cost to running the business, and we can't all expect it to be spent in the area that we want to sell our products in.
Do you know there's a bit there which when we're saying that is, in other countries their adoption of automation is better because they have better financial services available to do things like lease purchases. And when I first started in the industry,
it's a hard sell, isn't it?
So when I first started in the industry in 2002, we company I worked for, Regal Packaging, which was another cup filling business, is that we did a lot of stuff through Lombard at the time. And Lombard were one of the few people who would lease packaging machine and automation. And that meant there's probably about 15, 20 people who really went off the back of that Lombard piece. And the exponential growth was like people ordering multiples of 4 systems. Thing like sod it, we may as well just do the whole process because they could lease it off 5 years. We then, unfortunately, the problem you've got, it wouldn't be so bad with your palletizers, but even so to a point, as you just said, you don't make a red one, a green one, or a blue one, right? Is that unfortunately automation, as soon as you put it on the shop floor, depreciates faster than an electric car. So nobody wants to finance it anymore.
Yeah, maybe we're not shouting about it loud enough. There is a little bit more appetite to lease straight off your operational expenditure for sure. It just seems like...
Do Rico offer that?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, with a finance partner.
You don't pay your monthly.
I should name them, but I can't remember what they're called.
You can't remember what you pay.
Phil set it up, to be fair. He did a really good job in partnering with them. But
you're very pleased to have them as partners, yeah?
yeah, really.
Whoever they are.
Just a loan shark in Wales.
The first comment, are you sticking this on YouTube, right? Yeah.
Oh,
the first
God.
comment is you going, thanks for all the support from.
Do you know where we met him? We met him at Automation UK.
Ah, a very good show.
Fantastic show.
Something's come from it.
Yeah.
Really great show.
First thing you've ever had off it, right?
Network.
Yeah.
No. To be fair, that worked really, really well.
Yeah.
And they just quickly do a little health check and credit check on companies, and they say yeah or no.
So what's the uptake from your customers?
We've got 2 going through at the moment.
Okay, so
2
why
builds
aren't-
going through with lease
50?
agreements.
What's putting them off?
I don't know. I just, it is obvious. It's an obvious fix, right? But
I don't know. Is it?
you could do it over 1 year. You could do it over 3 years.
Is it an obvious fix for people on our side of the table? And the end user thinks, well, I'm not fucking leasing a robot cell.
I think it's from an SME point of view. It's got a lot of flex. You go to the corporates, it's a big issue. So last thing that we nearly LP'd was with a big food group, and it went to their lawyers. They went nah, and ended up buying it. But don't see it. I mean,
Force the order then.
It forced the order. Yeah. No, but that was my other point with the finance options. Actually, we. I don't want to talk too much about Grumwell because it's not.
Why not? We started talking about Rico the whole time.
No, that's the thing, right? And I've been there 17 years. Nobody likes me, as you well point
Ralph's
out, right?
going to kick your ass.
Ralph's going to kick my ass. So there'll be a phone call for when I see extension number 300 ring, and the blood pressure either goes up or down, and I get a chill. We've had enough. I took the view that we've had enough financial people in your life ring you up and say I can do this. So wasting their time was quite good fun, right? And when about 10 years ago, we were doing LPs either in-house or we were doing, not my house, not the little Grumwell, the actual proper Grumwell, proper business makes things.
Yeah,
people don't wear shackles.
you need to be really
place.
proper at offering it in-house,
Yeah,
don't you?
So, but what it actually was is because you were offering it to lease it, or you were using or we did have a couple of finance houses. I think Aldermore was somebody we were working with at one point. Does that sound right? It's not yours, is it?
She doesn't even know her own. She's not going to know yours.
Well, you're talking about Lombard. We did an awful lot back in the day with Lombard.
Yeah, they were.
Huge amounts.
Lombard were brilliant.
Yeah. It's that whole thing of, but actually our new lease partner does this. They'll pay us for the asset just before it leaves us, which is fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
the other thing, isn't it? It's the transfer of title.
Are we supposed to say that out loud? Right, so the best thing about when you lease purchase capital equipment, right, to an end user, right, is that you don't tend to get a deposit, do you? So you have to, so you have your work in progress figure with your own cost, yeah. But basically, what happens is when you deliver the equipment, they pay you 100% because they want to start the monthlies. It's no different to like when it's basically what Tesla are doing, right? Tesla want you to get you in your Model 3, Model Y bloody quick, and before.
But they've changed that now, haven't they? They're making it far more accessible. They won't start the repayments till the asset gets to site and is being used. So it's a really viable option. But I think you're right. I think when you're dealing with larger corporates in particular, there's a policy, that's governed by somebody else. It's out of their remit. So it just doesn't seem to be on the table with the purchase.
We should get someone that's not fucking boring finance, but to sit in a chair and we go into this, because there's got to be value for all of the members to know this.
Perhaps I should do a favour to the chap that I can't remember his name of.
So
Get him.
at least
I think his name's Phil as well.
So you at least know the gender of the person you work with.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But to be clear, they feel such an integral member of your team that you've forgotten it because it's all on Rico, right?
In all fairness to the sales guys, they've adopted that chap, and he's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
Let's hope you don't watch this.
You come to your Christmas party?
Hope he's not on LinkedIn.
Did he come to your Christmas party?
No.
So he's not that part much of the
No, but who would want to come to Mid Wales in December?
You hugged a fox.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went shooting.
She didn't shoot a fox.
In a licensed...
Right, to be clear, to clear it up.
You were fox hunting.
You did.
There's the trailer.
The fox was already there and it was already stuffed. Okay, I just had a picture of it. No foxes were killed at the Rico Works party.
Okay,
Right, that's good.
Yep.
Almost shot a duck though, because one happened to be flying by when we were shooting the claim.
No.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Bullshit or backbone? Most automation sales teams are good at diagnosing customer problems.
Backbone.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. They are well skilled at looking at the application itself and providing. And I don't think anybody in this day wants to get caught up in selling something the customer don't need.
No.
The COVID has probably filtered out the last of the David Brents in mid-range executive saloons. Not nothing killed them. I didn't mean that. Shit, that can't sound like that. That trumps your foxing, didn't it?
Yeah.
But in America, they for every salesperson, Lucy, there's an application engineer. An application engineer will say it can do X, Y, and I've looked at this. And I would say that anybody who does an integrated solution in the UK over the last 10 years, the successful people, and it will now be the majority, it will be your sales team, it will be what we've got as well. It's more friendly application engineering rather than sell.
Yeah.
And it is making a difference, right?
Yeah, I think there's a new generation that demands more detail-orientated selling than the old, oh, what do you want it to do? Oh, that's funny, because that's exactly what it does. There are some bad sales techniques out there that... But look, there's a lot more behind the sales team as well. You know, in this day and age, there are proof of concepts, there's online simulations to prove that it can do what you say it can do. So
Case studies
as well.
Getting going about case studies.
Yeah. But there are project specific things that are done to iron out any uncertainties and so the buyer is sure that they're buying the right bit of kit.
Yep. What's the most
I
common
think that
mistake
is the biggest.
then?
Sorry, Tom, but that is
right.
the biggest fear, isn't it? Is that somebody's going to get fired for
Yeah, 100%.
placing an order for something that becomes a really expensive.
Goes back to what we
paperweight.
discussed earlier. Like, there's less skilled people in their positions that are receiving the order. That why would you put your head on the block?
You know, you sadly still got a culture in large businesses anywhere, so I don't necessarily mean at customers, everyone. You've still got quite a Machiavellian culture where responsibility gets sent around the senior leadership team, but they don't really have the authority. But what they get as a byproduct of that is, hey, you don't get the authority, but hey, you get the failure.
Yeah.
So if somebody does a process for the first time, and it isn't just packaging machinery and robotics. I mean, it's why some businesses that you're really surprised have. Most SMEs, like very small SMEs, 20-person SMEs, will have much better account systems than their bigger brothers, because even then the person's got to adopt that system, and if it goes wrong and it affects their cash flow, it's their headache.
Yeah, it is. It's a big game, isn't it? It's a lot. It's a lot for one person to have to take on individually, but
it makes you realise how lucky we are in terms of doing what we do at Grunwald and Rico, in that we are masters of our own destiny. If we cock it up, it's on us.
Yeah. Well, we're about to invest in an ERP system, and I'm literally sweating at the thought of getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And making everybody's lives miserable because they've got to use something that doesn't actually support their day-to-day jobs. It's.
I've been at two manufacturers that. Right, terrible timing. Right as they've either put SAP in or Salesforce, and both instances were horrendous.
Yeah, we can make people's lives very difficult unnecessarily and pay a lot of money for it. So yeah, it's a. And do you know what? That is something that Rico absolutely needs right now. But I just keep pushing the process down the road, because I'm like, it's all that fact finding that you have to do to support the right decision and the right, implementing with the right company and the right piece of software. And even that is like, and I ask people why they're not buying the robot and why are they pushing that decision down the road in 6 months' time?
Oh God, so on Monday, right, we have very good systems at Grumwell Limited, yeah? The managing director and the operations director may not still be on those systems. So somebody put a load of videos, and this is not even like the ERP system, we're talking about the SharePoint, right?
Oh God.
Is somebody loaded, I've been asking for all these, we're doing a machine at the moment that does about 40 different flavours of stuff, and I needed a video of every kind of flavour, and I got this email saying all on the SharePoint. So I went into the office on Monday and I went, could somebody download me all those videos of the SharePoint? And they were like, why, is there a problem with your SharePoint? And I was like, and they were like, it's all right though, because Sam's in today, so just use Sam's SharePoint. And so I went to see Sam. She went, I didn't realise we were on SharePoint yet. So, it's bad that, really.
Yeah, I know, you need to be the advocate for
I know. So Sam and I are still operating off a know-how cloud we bought off Curry's 15 years ago. The rest of the business we've got, and we just signed up to, the guy I've been giving shit to for years, who I've actually just placed an order with, MK, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we've got some really, really good systems, but I was like, oh no, I'm that person.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like our technical director. He's going to really struggle with it.
Yeah. I feel like
he likes whiteboards and paper.
When I was talking to him about it at the chairman's lunch, I feel like I got a kindred spirit in Lel.
Oh,
when it comes to throwing technology on a machine, I'm all for that.
But he's all into his AI products at the moment. He's talking about humanoid robots, but ask him to put something in a shared folder so everybody can access the. Oh my God! Where? What?
I'd imagine, like me, he's a legacy Outlook user. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. His whole life is in that Outlook folder. Yeah.
SMEs need more government funding to automate. Bullshit or backbone?
Backbone.
More funding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's use an SME in Wales as an example, right? Okay. If your business is in Wales, the grants, the funding that comes out of Welsh Government is amazing. And if you're fortunate to get your hands on something, and I know they've run grant-funded schemes that supports digitalisation and any innovation, IoT, and robotics came under that. And I think there was even one specifically for food manufacturers at one point. And it was the push they needed to get something in place. And I think that really helps in the decision-making process, because we've already identified that cost is a big barrier. So let's get some more money thrown at it.
If not grants, tax relief is the other mechanism, but there needs to be something.
Or
urgently.
0% loans.
Yeah, I would say that not just actually.
And perhaps they're already out there for the right businesses. I mean, if your business ticks the box.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what's out there at the moment.
They missed a trick when they did that national insurance ramp up last year to not give something back to encourage capital investment to offset it. That would have made such a big difference.
Well, we thought that's where we were going to boom, and it hasn't really had that effect.
No,
it's just everybody's hurry up and wait and steady, aren't they?
But I've had this argument for years with people though, that like there's always something, there's always a reason not to do something.
Yeah.
Or we all in industry we think that outside reason pushes more. Nothing changes. But culturally, we just fucking stick with what we know. We keep machines working. But like, what is it that's actually going to convince the end user to automate?
The best enabler for automation that I've seen with customers of late is that it's driven from the top down.
Yeah.
And when you get that buy-in at CEO level, all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's happening. And I think that's the difference.
The problem is, these days, how many manufacturers are still privately owned? You know, how many of them CEOs are sat in the UK, still around these sort of conversations, or going to the Automate meetings, or
Yeah.
going to events?
We have to maximise the fashion trend when it happens. So the fashion trend at the moment would be buy each other. That's clearly what's going on in certainly food at the moment. The
Yeah.
fashion it's buy, you know, it's buy each other, or I'll buy you, you buy me. That's kind of the top level fashion. There will come a point, and the other thing is that everybody's fascinated with AI. What jobs can they replace with AI? I mean, everybody's fascinated with that, and then nobody's got the answer.
No.
And the answer is, I don't know, really, it's probably some admin, right? We'll find out. There will come a point where you will get, I guess, it's an awful term, but the tech bro mentality will spread across main manufacturing, and then you will have senior people who will do it. When that happens, and maybe it could be the next thing that happens after buy each other, or maybe it's 2 things down the road, it's making sure that our industry is as match fit as possible to make that happen. There are signs though, because you have got a lot of people moving into manufacturing who have come out of finance and service industry, where bizarrely mainly digital automation has been the thing that made them very successful. There is probably a cultural change at the top of most businesses, that there is an appreciation of automation, but it's very different automation. They've normally worked with digital system rather than physical thing. But at the moment,
and sometimes there is, you know, because we see a lot in particular with food manufacturing, it is a little bit incestuous, isn't it? And people move on and they go to different companies, and the next thing you know, they pop up with another company. You think, oh right, you work here now. But that's okay, because they're taking all of that knowledge and all those positive experiences of adopting automation with them, and they're bringing it to a customer that maybe isn't quite yet on that automation journey. So we quite like it when people move around.
it was quite good, that. Yeah.
Rosie, what's the thing end users don't want to hear about robotics but need to?
Well, you know, we always talk about robots not having a day off. Well, they don't have days off. They have planned days off.
Thank you.
They ask for annual leave because they need the service every now and then.
Thank
you know?
Yeah, right. Thank you for that.
I mean, you can't rev the nuts off your Volvo and not expect to service it once a year.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I understand that that's been probably in some publicity that's come out of Automate recently, and when I read it, I was like, oh no. But because it's right.
You didn't sign that bit of PR off.
I didn't
then,
sign
no?
that bit of PR off, right, which is probably why I'll be signing a few more off in the next few weeks, because we have data now where we have machines on service contract, and we keep those machines in the magic OEE bracket of 75 to 85%. Okay, some things now like 10, 15 years old, we're doing that because we service them. But when we service them, it ain't zip tying and doing one bearing. We actually need to pull the thing apart for 4 or 5 days, and we need to do it. So I'm pleased you said that, because they don't take as much time off. But it's this sell and forget mentality that drives me up the bloody wall. Is an industry we are so bad at. And look, the service element of my business is actually bigger than my machine sales element of my business.
Well, you're not alone there as a machine builder, are you? Typically, that's what happens. I mean, Rico didn't have a service department 2 years ago, so you know that's not how we've built our business. But we are trying to let people know that a service, and just to take a look at where we can optimise performance every now and then, is a good thing.
You have one bad bit of automation over a long period of time. We nearly lost a global contract with somebody 10 years ago because on one site they didn't service their machine, and they did a something incredible like 500 million pots of food off that machine of a service. So when the machine physically collapsed, it wasn't their fault. It's got a Grumwald sticker on it, right? And that can be your biggest problem. You're only as good as your worst machine on site, and you need to be making sure, and we need to be building a culture that we actually support people on site. And you're right, the machines need time off. Not every week, but yeah.
But you can plan it in, right?
Yeah.
Because there are sites that run 24/7, but typically upstream, there are times, there are periods, and a lot of companies will have specific maintenance weeks, which they can foresee that shutdown period. But yeah, misconception is that they don't take a day off, but sometimes you kind of need to give them a couple of hours or days if it's James's company.
Yeah, we wouldn't say that. You're going to call me a metal basher?
Robots don't take that long to service.
No.
Robot arms, particularly.
She's saying you've got really slow service engineers.
No, I'm not. I'm not coming after your service department. No way.
Well, what's wrong with them? Why don't you want to headhunt them?
No. I think they're doing a great job for you.
You wouldn't be the first automate director who's headhunted by service engineers the last year. We won't talk about that on camera. Okay, fair enough.
Let's close it there. Thank you very much, Rosie.
Thank you.